The Kybalion. Chapter 10. Polarity. Everything is dual. Everything has two poles. Everything has its pair of opposites. Like and unlike are the same. Opposites are identical in nature, but different in degree. Extremes meet. All truths are but half-truths. All paradoxes may be reconciled. The Kybalion. The fourth hermetic principle, the principle of polarity, embodies the truth that all manifested things have two sides, two aspects, two poles, a pair of opposites with manifold degrees between the two extremes. The old paradoxes which have been perplexed the mind of man are explained by an understanding of this principle. Man has always recognized something akin to this principle and has endowed to express it in such sayings, maxims, and aphorisms as are the following. Everything is and isn't at the same time. All truths are but half-truths. Every truth is half-false. There are two sides to everything. There is a reverse side to every shield, etc., etc. The Hermetic teachings are to the effect that the difference between things seemingly diametrically opposed to each other is merely a matter of degree. It teaches that the pair of opposites may be reconciled and that thesis and antithesis are identical in nature, but different in degree. And that the universal reconciliation of opposites is affected by the reconciliation of the principle of polarity. The teachers claim that illustrations of this principle may be held at every hand, and from an examination into the real nature of anything. They begin by showing that spirit and matter are but two poles of the same thing, the intermediate planes being merely degrees of vibration. They show that the all and the many are the same, the difference being merely a matter of degree, of mental manifestation. Thus the law of laws are the two opposite poles of one thing, likewise principle and principles, infinite mind and finite minds. Then passing on to the physical plane, they illustrate the principle by showing that the heat and cold are identical in nature, the difference being merely a matter of degrees. The thermometer shows many degrees of temperature, the lowest pole being that called cold, and the highest heat. Between these two poles are many degrees of heat or cold. Call them either and you are equally correct. The higher the 2 degrees is always warmer, while the lower is always colder. There is no absolute standard at all in this matter of degree. There is no place on the thermometer where heat ceases and cold begins. It is a matter of higher or lower vibrations. The very terms high and low, which we are compelled to use, are but poles of the same thing. The terms are relative. So with east and west, travel around the world eastward direction and you will reach a point which is west of your starting point, and you return from the westward point. Travel far north, and you will find yourself traveling south, and vice versa. Light and darkness are poles of the same thing, with many degrees between them. The musical scale is the same. Starting with C, you move upwards till you reach another C, and so on. The difference being between the poles are the same, with many degrees between the two extremes. The scale of color is the same, higher and lower vibrations being the only difference between high violet and low red. Large and small are relative, so are noise and quiet. Hard and soft follow the